Carl Jung emphasizes that people can be psychologically connected to each other and that this connection exists not only on a physical, but also on a spiritual level. In this video, we will talk about true love and the relationship between two souls. According to Carl Jung, real love goes beyond simple physical attraction or romantic feelings. According to Carl Jung, true love is when two people recognize each other on a spiritual level and form a deep connection. This type of love transcends external characteristics of people and is built more on inner harmony and mutual understanding. Jung does not consider love as simply an emotion or fleeting desire. For him, love is a spiritual union. True love is when two people accept each other's inner world, desires, fears, and weaknesses. This connection allows two people to confront not only each other, but also their inner selves. In Jung's understanding, the foundation of true love is mutual understanding and respect. This means accepting one's partner not only physically or mentally, but also emotionally and spiritually. Love is not just a meeting of two people and love for each other, but also supporting each other on a spiritual path. True love helps both partners to thrive. They accept and heal each other's shadows, their dark sides. In this context, love is a form of spiritual evolution. In a relationship, two people see each other's deepest and weakest sides and accept these sides with compassion. True love is not an emotional outburst or temporary excitement, but a devotion that spreads, deepens, and lasts over time. According to Jung, true love is an experience associated with the spiritual perfection of the personality. This refers to a situation when two souls unite and achieve a certain union. True love allows two people who are deeply connected to each other to make their own internal journeys while respecting each other's internal journeys. Through this love, people are able to love each other despite their differences, because love is primarily a process of acceptance. All the shortcomings and flaws that come to the fore are considered with love, tolerance, and acceptance. This connection creates a kind of light that illuminates the shared inner worlds of two people who are deeply emotionally connected to each other. Ultimately, such love makes two people deeper, wiser, and freer. True love is a connection that develops over time. The initial attraction and passion between them intensifies over time, and the spiritual connection between them becomes stronger. From Jung's point of view, true love is a concept that exists outside of time. The nature of love cannot exist only while you are alive. It is a kind of spiritual connection that is measured not by time, but by spiritual depth and harmony. It lies in the fact that two souls recognize each other and nourish not only emotionally, but also spiritually. Being together, the spiritual dimension of love occupies a very important place in Carl Jung's understanding of love. According to Jung, love is not simply an emotion or physical attraction. Love is an experience that penetrates the depth being of a person. Love is not the connection of two people to each other only on an external or superficial level, but their disclosure and replenishment of each other on a spiritual and soulful level. In this context, love can be understood as a kind of spiritual union. People are connected to each other not only by physical or emotional attraction. In fact, this connection is formed on a spiritual level, and it suggests that this type of love is a connection that people deeply realize and accept. True love is the light of another person on a person's spiritual path. This light makes them brighter, deeper, and more conscious. To understand the spiritual dimension of love, it is necessary to take into account Jung's concept of shadow. Shadows are aspects of personality that a person does not realize, suppresses, or finds difficult to accept. Jung says that true love is a process of self-knowledge, including these shadow aspects. Love allows people to confront their dark sides and accept them. This connection between two souls requires acceptance of each other's deepest wounds, fears, and shortcomings. This is where the spiritual dimension of love comes into play. Love not only shares happy moments, but also helps people illuminate each other's shadows. By recognizing each other, people accept not only the brightest, but also the darkest sides of each other. This is an expression of spiritual integration, acceptance, and love. Jung says that the spiritual dimension of love actually helps a person find spiritual balance within themselves. Love is not only a process of loving another person, but also a process of replenishing shortcomings within oneself. Love allows a person to know themselves more deeply, explore their inner self, and become a more conscious being. Jung argues that this aspect of love integrates a person and brings them to a higher level of consciousness. True love connects people with their inner wealth. Both people realize each other's spiritual needs, depths, and searches and create harmony in this direction. According to Carl Jung, These pillars of high-level consciousness bring meaning to each other's life, existence, and internal processes. Love at this stage is not just an emotion, but also a spiritual journey. This journey not only brings people closer, but also forces them to confront themselves. This spiritual connection between two people is an expression of a certain universal harmony and unity. The spiritual dimension of love is not limited to only people. According to Carl Jung, true love creates spiritual harmony and depth. This connection strengthens, deepens, and transforms beings over time. True love is, in a sense, a turning point in a person's internal evolution. The spiritual dimension of love allows both people to explore and accept their inner world and ultimately find spiritual wholeness. This connection shines one of the deepest insights in the field of love and human relationships. According to Jung, true love is a much deeper concept than just shared emotions or physical attraction between two people. This connection is a spiritual union. It is when two people connect with each other not only on a physical or emotional level, but also on a deeper spiritual and inner level. Jung argues that this type of connection develops over time and creates a depth that cannot be broken. Thanks to this connection, true love is not limited by time and space. This connection between two souls, once established, becomes an immortal force independent of any external conditions that connects two people for the rest of their lives. This connection is strengthened not only by emotional harmony between them, but also by spiritual harmony. This connection is also directly related to Jung's archetypes and individual psychology. According to Jung, the basic structures of the human psyche include elements such as shadow, persona, anima, and animus. True love is formed when two people realize and accept these archetypal elements in each other. At first, it may seem that the connection between two souls is established through external attraction or superficial similarity. But over time, it moves to a much deeper level. This connection is strengthened when both sides see the dark sides of their inner world in each other. One's shadow is illuminated by the other's light. The relationships established between this light and shadow represent a process of accepting each other's deepest fears and anxieties. In this sense, true love is a journey full of discoveries. Both people immerse themselves in each other's spiritual depths, realizing and accepting each other's innermost essence. The connection between two souls ultimately becomes a kind of spiritual force. This connection helps two people overcome disagreements, difficulties, and pain. Jung describes this aspect of love as a force that unites people not only physically and emotionally, but also spiritually. Thanks to this connection, love allows both people to see each other as guides in their inner journeys and contribute to each other's development. This connection becomes so deep over time that the relationship established between two souls can continue not only in this life, but also beyond. This love is immortal and does not fade over time. This commitment is formed not only under the influence of time spent together pleasantly, but also under the influence of spiritual development that both people experience together. The connection between two souls requires people to give each other not only love, but also understanding and tolerance. In this connection, both people accept each other's mistakes and shortcomings. True love is not a force that destroys each other, but on the contrary, it appears as a spiritual force that connects them more freely and deeply. This connection constantly nourishes deep love and mutual understanding between them and brings both people to a higher level of consciousness. The connection between two souls in Carl Jung's understanding of love implies that people know and accept each other on a deeper level, not just emotionally or physically. This connection becomes stronger and more immortal because true love is a connection that transcends time. In this connection, both people immerse themselves in each other's spiritual depths, accepting each other's darkest and brightest sides. According to Jung, this connection is the strongest and most sacred connection in the lives of two people. Two souls connected by deep love never, under any circumstances, lose connection with each other. The difficulties and trials of love occupy a central place in Carl Jung's deep understanding of love and relationships. Jung argues that true love is not simply a short-term happiness or a situation that can be easily achieved, but rather an experience that develops, deepens, and sometimes goes through complex processes over time. True love can be passionate and exciting at the beginning, but in order to preserve this love and build a deeper connection, it is necessary to go through According to Jung, these difficulties of love are an important stage that allows relationships to deepen and leads to strengthening the connection. Commonly, the trials of love often involve a process of personal and spiritual growth. Jung says that everyone has repressed emotions, fears, and desires in their inner world. True love reveals these shadows and encourages people to confront their inner darkness. Relationships act as a mirror, allowing them to see a true reflection of their inner world and see the qualities and flaws that are otherwise hidden. True love is not a connection based solely on attachment. It is also a process in which people must confront their deepest fears and vulnerabilities. Facing difficulties tests the strength of the connection between two souls. Jung argues that this connection is tested not only by external conditions, but also by internal conflicts and fears. If the relationship is based not only on physical attraction or emotional speed, then over time, the resilience shown in overcoming difficulties and the ability to cope with them together reveal the reality of love. This test of love measures how deep your dedication and trust are. True love requires patience, understanding, and sacrifice. Over time, these trials test the trust that people have in each other. The ability to be together in the face of difficulties demonstrates the true resilience and sincerity in the relationship. Another important challenge is preserving individual identity. True love requires each person to grow and develop together without losing themselves. According to Jung, the reality of love is based on the fact that two people complement each other while maintaining their individuality. Individual identities must be able to coexist and create harmony, complementing each other. One of the problems of love is that passion and romance in relationships fade over time. Strong desires and excitement at the beginning may give way to a deeper attachment and mature love over time. Jung describes this transformation of love as a process requiring understanding and acceptance. The development of relationships between two people implies the transformation of the original fiery passion into a calmer, more mature love. This evolution requires a transition from the original emotional intensity to a much deeper but equally strong love. Sometimes these changes can be difficult as people may have to go through a new process of establishing connections when they lose their original enthusiasm and passion. However, according to Jung, this test of love also includes developing true and deep devotion that replaces passion. Trials of love occur when external factors put the relationship to the test. Life stresses, financial difficulties, family problems, or differences in lifestyle test the couple's commitment to each other. According to Jung, true love manifests itself in the ability to face all these challenges together. These dimensions of love are interconnected not only emotionally and spiritually, but also intellectually. Carl Jung considers these stages of love as tests necessary to make the relationship deeper and more lasting. In conclusion, it should be noted that the trials and tribulations of love are important factors. According to Jung, these tests strengthen the dedication, mutual understanding, and sacrifice of two people towards each other. Facing difficulties, love becomes stronger, and the connection between two souls becomes deeper over time. The interrelationship between love and personal growth represents one of Carl Jung's deepest insights in the field of human psychology. Jung emphasizes that love is something more than just an emotional connection between two people. Love is also a process that deeply affects the internal development and spiritual evolution of the personality. True love, the deep and spiritual connection existing between two souls, not only brings both people closer, but also pushes them to unlock their inner potential and paves the way for personal development. Carl Jung says that people confront their internal conflicts and repressed emotions. Love is an experience that allows people to meet their shadow side. The concept of shadow in Jungian psychology refers to the dark aspects of personality that he or she does not accept, suppresses, or finds difficult to cope with. True love allows you to accept and integrate these aspects. Love is like a reflection, reflecting each other's shadows, shortcomings, and fears. Partners reveal these dark sides and work together to transform them. This process is a cornerstone of personal growth as people reach spiritual maturity, not only by fighting their dark sides, but also by accepting and reconciling with them. Love also allows a person to meet their own images of anima or animus and internalize them. Anima is a female figure, and animus is a male figure. Love is a deep connection that unites two people, but it also leads both to more important questions in their lives. Jung sees love as a force capable of giving meaning to people's lives and giving them greater awareness. Love not only helps people develop in relationships, but also allows people to seek answers to their existential questions and discover their inner purpose and goals that will give meaning to their lives. Love becomes a guide in difficult moments of life, because this connection brings a people face to face not only with others, but also with themselves. Love enhances self-knowledge and promotes a greater understanding of humanity and the human condition. The influence of love on the development of personality intensifies over time as it transforms into a more mature love. In the beginning, love is often a passionate, emotional connection, but over time, this connection grows into a deeper and more mature love. Jung describes this evolution of love as a process when a person knows themselves deeper, accepts themselves, and finds spiritual wholeness. Over time, two people accept not only each other's dignity, but also shortcomings, and together they become stronger. Love gives people the opportunity to overcome the difficulties they face together. In this process, people support each other, being there in the most difficult times. This support is vital for achieving personal growth, because true love gives a person endurance in the process of overcoming difficulties and makes them more mature, more resilient, and more conscious. According to Jung, love is not just a romantic connection, it is also a teacher. Love is not only an experience of mutual love between people, but also a process of discovering, accepting, and transforming themselves. True love allows both people to explore their personal growth more deeply and develop more effectively. The spiritual dimension of love constitutes one of the deepest and most mystical aspects of Carl Jung's understanding of love. Jung believes that love is not just a physical or emotional connection, but a sacred and universal force that connects the spiritual worlds of two people. This spiritual dimension goes far beyond the love of two people. This connects them with a greater truth, humanity as a whole, and the mystery of the universe. According to Jung, true love is a kind of transcendent experience. Love between people is not just love between two people, but also a reflection of the connection of these people with universal reality and consciousness. Jung argues that one of the ways to find meaning and purpose. Jung asserts that people need to join this universal force of love to find meaning and purpose in their internal searches. True love creates a moment of enlightenment. This allows a person to re-understand themselves in the world, develop a deep awareness of the order of the universe. Love acts as a spiritual mentor, allowing people to rise to a higher level of consciousness. This spiritual connection established between two people not only creates a deep mutual transformation, but also paves the way for both people in relationships to a deeper mystical understanding. Love is a kind of spiritual journey. When people love each other, this love leads them to a higher truth, a deeper inner knowledge. This spiritual connection allows love to create meaningful and powerful transformations not only on an individual but also on a social level. This is a force that promotes the spiritual development of both individuals and connects them with a higher universal order. True love encourages each person to serve not only themselves but also humanity and the universe. Love is the purest and highest form in which God manifests himself in the human soul. In this way, love becomes a kind of sacred search. When two people love each other, they also feel God deeper. Another important aspect of the spiritual dimension of love is that people unite to form a kind of collective consciousness. Jung argues that people not only explore their inner self, but also serve each other as part of a community. Love is nourished by this collective consciousness and allows both people to unite with social consciousness. True love allows people to achieve more than just material satisfaction and pleasure. It guides them to serve a higher purpose. True love takes people beyond time, gives them a universal perspective, and allows them to understand that their existence is part of a larger cycle. Love does not limit people only to the framework of everyday life. It unites them with universal bonds and helps them understand the highest truth outside of time. Although this search is not limited by time and space, according to Carl Jung, the spiritual dimension of love is something much more than just people knowing themselves and each other. True love not only connects two people, but also directs them to a universal order and higher goals through collective consciousness. Love is a spiritual journey, a process of enlightenment, discovery, and transformation. This process brings a person closer to a deeper internal understanding and greater universal responsibility. Love is not just an emotional connection, it is one of the highest aspirations on a person's spiritual path. In Jung's understanding, love is not just an emotional experience, but also a temporal connection. This connection deepens, strengthens, and develops over time. This continuity of love is not limited to the emotional attachment that people feel for each other. This is also a trait that affects their spiritual development, inner growth, and all aspects of their lives. True love is a journey that lasts a lifetime and it becomes stronger over time. According to Jung, the continuity of love implies that the connection that people feel for each other implies a kind of timeless existence. One person enters into a deep and continuous connection with the psyche of another. This connection in time exists not only as a relationship extending from one beginning to another, but also as a spiritual connection. Jung says that when love has a temporal dimension, these relationships touch every stage of a person's life, and this interaction will deepen over time. The intensity of the initial love gives way to a more mature, deeper understanding and acceptance over time. Over time, the connection between two people goes beyond just physical attraction. It turns into a spiritual connection, a spiritual dimension. This transformation can be considered a natural result of the fact that the passionate excitement at the beginning of the relationship turns over time into a calmer, deeper, and stronger love. However, this transformation does not lead to a break in connections, but on the contrary, strengthens them. Over time, both people know each other's souls deeper, which strengthens the continuity of the connection. Over time, the continuity of love should be considered as a process of discovery rather than just an obligation. During their time together, people not only discover each other, but also their own inner worlds. Jung argues that a person is a constantly changing being. Over time, a person's spiritual structure, their way of thinking, and emotional experience change. This evolution leads to a deeper understanding and acceptance between two people. True love not only observes this evolutionary process, but also guides it. The connection between two souls is tested over time, not only by the challenges and changes of external life, but also by the spiritual changes and maturation of personality. In this process, both people can understand each other deeper over time, discovering in themselves those aspects that they did not notice before. Every crisis, every difficult moment can actually make relationships richer and more stable. How strong their connections are. According to Jung, relationships only become stronger when we face difficulties and overcome them. Over time, love becomes deeper not only emotionally but also spiritually. Another aspect of the influence of time on love is that two souls loving each other develop together with the changes they experience throughout their lives. Jung says that love will transition from its original, pure and strong state to a deeper maturity over time. Throughout their lives, people go through different stages, circumstances change, personal goals, problems, and happiness develop. According to Carl Jung, the continuity of love in time is not only an obligation but also a process of evolution, growth, and discovery. True love is not subject to time. The connection between two souls only becomes stronger over time. Time is inherent in love as a transforming force. Over time, both people connect with each other with a deeper understanding and love. As love becomes more mature, conscious, and strong over time, both people continue this journey together, witnessing each other's spiritual journeys. According to Carl Jung, love is not limited to deep connections between two people. It has a broader universal dimension. Love represents one of the deepest and most fundamental forces existing in the universe. Jung sees the universality of love in its connection with common archetypes in the human unconscious and collective consciousness. True love is not only the connection that people feel for each other, but also the connection between humanity as a whole. This connection has a nature unlimited by time, culture, and space. Love is a common experience for all of humanity, and each person, moving towards this universal truth on their own internal path, also establishes a deep connection with other souls. According to Jung, love is more than an individual feeling. It is a force uniting all of humanity in the universe. The universality of love is also manifested in the symbolic meanings attributed to it. Jung argues that there are universal archetypes in the human subconscious. These archetypes are universal images and symbols common to all humanity and transcending cultural boundaries. One can see themselves in these archetypes, and love is formed through the union of these archetypes. True love allows each person to connect with these universal symbols in their inner world. Love allows a person to confront their deepest emotions, desires, and fears, and find internal integrity and spiritual balance. This corresponds to Jung's process of integration. Love is an instrument that guides people in their internal journeys and transfers them to a higher consciousness. According to Carl Jung, the universality of love corresponds to the evolutionary process that people experience in their internal journeys. Each person can experience love differently, but this experience reveals a universal truth. Each state of love initiates a change in a person's internal world on a conscious and unconscious level. Although each person experiences love in their own way, these experiences have one thing in common. When a person experiences this love, it serves a universal purpose. Love is a force that unites each person, and this force helps each person to reveal their existential meaning. According to Jung, the universality of love is an experience common to all humanity. This plays an important role in the spiritual evolution of each person. According to Carl Jung, the universality and variability of love are its deepest and most fundamental aspects. Love is not just an emotion between two people, it is also a universal force, an archetype, and an instrument of transformation. True love acts as a guide in each person's internal journey and directs people to a universal truth. Love allows us to know ourselves, our essence, and to realize ourselves in different ways by each person. However, all these experiences reflect a common human experience, a universal truth. Jung sees the universal dimension of love as a connection and a force for all humanity, and this connection continues in time, uniting each person with God. According to Carl Jung, we have shared this deep view on the universality and transformation of true love. So what do you think about how true love has changed over time, and what is its impact on a person's inner world? How does the universal force of love shape people's connections, not only with each other, but also with the universe? Your opinion on this issue is important for us to hear different points of view on this topic. Share your thoughts in the comments. If this video impressed you, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Therefore, you can subscribe to us to receive more content and in-depth analysis. Your opinion is very valuable to us. Therefore, we are waiting for your comments. By the way, the button to join our channel is activated for you. It is very important to become a member and support our channel so that we can create more content. Thank you.